Yo, we already got some
Hey,
rock and
yo.
roll action there, huh? Yo, we got Breno with that nice and early. Yo, Breno, what's up, dude? Lightning Wizard, what's up? How are you? Matt, did you have a
Hello.
good week?
I did, yeah. Really busy. Has been busy, really. A lot with children and work and things like that and stuff. I was just kind of explaining to you just before we started, really, as well. It's just finding that balance and doing a bit of juggling, really. But yeah, it's been good.
Yo, good shit. We got
Yeah.
John in the house. My boy Gunner, what's up? Grim Medic, what's you up to? Patrick, what's up, buddy? What's up, man? Patrick says,
Hi,
how you doing,
Patrick.
Matt? Oh yeah,
I'm all good, thank you. Hope you're good too.
so it's that actually kind of is in the topic of commitment that we have for tonight, huh?
As in people turning up and watching us, or
No, like when Blake, you're talking about how your week was going and like sorting
yeah,
things out to
it does.
obligate and meet your commitments and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I think, and I was just thinking earlier actually as well about doing perhaps a part 2 of overcommitment, and which might follow on from tonight. But yeah, because you can kind of overcommit as well, can't you? Which I kind of is just keeping that balance really at the moment. Knowing that you can kind of still say no to things as well and plan things out a little bit better. So, but yeah, it's all good. It's yeah, been busy, but been good, been productive-ish. So that's good. Not
Good
too
deal.
bad. How you been?
I've been doing good. Chris Armstrong's in the house. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Hey, Chris.
So we were just talking, Matt and I were just talking, Patrick, about like there's a few people that want to be guests on here, right? And I saw that you commented in Discord today about that. Matt and I are going to meet this week, probably around Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
And we're going to arrange, we're going to kind of combine what we got, like as far as like guests and scheduling and stuff like that. So be on the lookout in that mental health section. All right. And then we'll make sure and get people locked in. Cause I know Kayla wanted to do it as well, you know?
Yeah, I've messaged Kayla. I haven't actually heard back from her yet, but I'll message her again as well.
Yeah. So just make sure you look out for that. And then we'll meet more prior to whatever day we or whatever date we agree on, to whatever works out for everybody involved, you know. So and we'll kind of go over things, you know what I'm saying?
There's because really I should be able to put like a bit of a diary up on Discord, shouldn't I, Chris, on your Discord with a little bit of a list?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, may do that as well, because then people will have an idea of who's on, perhaps what the subject is.
And then once we iron that out, I can just add a separate channel inside of that section, like for schedule or like mental health guest or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Yo, we got Dennis and Tomato Hater. What's up? How y'all doing, man?
How can you hate? Well, to be honest, I was going to say how can you hate tomatoes, but yeah, I did when I was younger. So
I don't like them. I don't like the texture of them.
Yeah. I can only eat so much of them, to be fair. I like mushrooms. Right. Mushrooms are good. I love them with anything.
Like shrooms?
Well, yeah, not those kind of mushrooms. I shouldn't have said that, should I? I was just talking about, like a nice mushroom with your breakfast, or yeah.
Too slimy. I agree, man. Ain't nobody like that texture, right? Look, Tomato, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's just yuck, bro. All right, it's just yuck. I don't do it now. Like my dad, he used to take like tomatoes and put them on a sandwich and like put a bunch of salt on it and stuff. I just ugh. I don't know, man. It's the texture for me. It's just too much. Yikes.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I
yikes.
I do.
I am kind of excited though, Matt. Like what we were talking about earlier with things, trying to stay up on the up and up, right? But man, I did my first YouTube short today, bro, and it's already at like 2.7K views and stuff. So I'm really hoping, man. I think this would also be a good second option to provide that supplementary income as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Pete, you eat crayons but don't like the texture of tomatoes? Absolutely, 100%. Crayons are not slimy, right? They're not slimy.
Do you kind of unwrap crayons before you eat them? Do you take the paper off, or do you leave the paper on?
Last time I did on stream, I left the paper on.
Did you? Okay. Yeah.
Tomato says, I'm a grown man. I don't want any wait, what? I'm a grown man. I don't want anything. I don't want nothing slimy. Right. Sorry. I don't know why I had a hard time fucking reading that, bro. Oh my God. But yeah. So I agree. It's just the texture of it. It's like yuck, soft, and just I don't know, man. Right.
What's your favorite color crayon to eat? What colors do you like? Red.
Yeah, red for cherry always.
Okay,
right?
yeah. Okay.
Yo, Hunter, what's up, buddy? How you doing, bro? Love me some tomatoes with just salt and pepper. And I don't know how people do it, man. I just can't. Chad, I can't. I'd rather gnaw my own arm off, right?
Yeah, I couldn't eat them like that. It'd have to be kind of with something.
Okay, maybe that was a little melodramatic. I probably would eat a tomato before I ate my own arm, but I'm pretty sure you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Grim with the green crayons. We got blue.
Blue, I can go with blue. Blue would be mine, really, like an electric blue crown. That would be my one. With the paper
Drunken.
off, probably.
Definitely cherry flavor, right? Definitely. Yo, Sharp, what's up, buddy? What's up? I like eating tomatoes. So it looks like we're actually kind of tied in between here, right? Looks like we're kind of tied in between here. I personally was, like I said, I'm not doing it. Not doing it, chat. Now I eat the hell out of ketchup, right? On French fries and on burgers and stuff. But when it comes to like tomatoes, it's a texture. Yeah. It's like makes me want to fuck. Yo, the Hunt 6, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? It's snowing right now. Could you send it over here? Put sugar on tomatoes and you'll be okay. No, that won't fix the texture. It's just not going to happen.
But that'd be like crunchy tomato. Yeah.
Mustard goes on fries. So I never really ate a lot of mustard with French fries. There are certain circumstances. Miss Robin says she likes tomatoes too. Yo, yuck. Hear me out. Big over here, Chris, in a sandwich. I just can't do it. I can't do it, Chad. I can't do it. You're Texan? Yes, sir. Chris loves pineapple on his pizza? Never. It does not. We actually had a huge debate on this when Casey was in town, chat. We had a huge debate with this when Casey was streaming one day. And everybody pretty much agreed that pineapple does not belong in pizza. It just is what it is. Now, ranch with French fries is good. What do you think, Matt? You ever had ranch dressing in French fries? It's yum yum.
No, I haven't actually. No, I'll have to try that one. I must admit though, I'm kind of positive for the pineapple on pizza stuff. I go down that road.
Okay.
I don't mind doing that one.
We're no longer friends.
Ham, pineapple, cheese. Yeah.
I like ham or Canadian
it's
bacon.
Like
or whatever.
The whole Hawaiian thing, isn't it? That's what it is. It's like it's for me. It's like exotic. That's what it is. To have pineapple on your pizza, that's like an exotic thing. So I feel like I'm on holiday or doing something special.
Pineapple belongs on pizza. Chris Armstrong agrees with you. So good. So you should automatically love tomatoes because I'm Texan? I don't think so. I don't think that's ever been a thing. You know what I mean? Dennis said you should wait. What did he say? It just went too far up. Mayo and ketchup mixed together with fries. So back in high school, I distinctly remember this. Back in high school, right? Going to the cafeteria, getting your lunch, and you mix like ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise together. And I do remember it being somewhat tasty, but I'm not really a huge mayo fan per se either. Right? I'm not really a huge mayo fan either. I don't know about y'all, right? I don't know about y'all, but I don't know. Hunter says he likes pineapple on pizza, horseradish on hard-boiled eggs. I don't eat hard-boiled eggs either, nor do I eat horseradish. I'm very picky. Like I really am. I don't know what it is. Raw tomatoes ruin almost anything they are put on for me. I agree, bro. Now I can eat tomatoes like if they're cooked into a meal and they're like chopped or small, you know, whatever. I just try to pretend like I don't see them. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Ranch buffalo sauce for dipping fries. Buffalo sauce is good too. Right. So Chris, we're on both. Right. I just can't. With that being said, I can't make that, you know, too obvious. You know what I mean? Mustard on a cheeseburger, yes, I do enjoy having mustard on my cheeseburger. Like especially if I go to Sonic. Chad, if you guys go to Sonic, for those of y'all here in the stateside, right? I do like their mustard on that. What about gizzards? No, I don't really eat gizzards neither. I used to do the barbecue and mustard for chicken tenders and lunch during high school. I mean, it's good, right? It's good. I'll give you that for sure. I'll give you that.
Someone introduced me years ago to cheesy apple on toast, which sounds to me really bizarre, but it was actually quite tasty. Which really? Was it like grilled under the in the grill in the oven. So it's like melted cheese on apple on toast. It was surprisingly actually pretty good from what I remember. It was quite a few years ago, but yeah, I was very surprised because it sounds horrible.
Yeah, that's an interesting combination. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yo, Drunken, I appreciate you, man. Much love, dude. Much love. I'll see if you show back up. All right. Yeah. John said pretzels dipped in mustard. I heard that was good. Right. I heard that was good.
Yeah, I've never tried that one.
No,
Welcome
thank
to
you.
the What Are You Eating podcast.
They said no, thank you. Okay, Matt lost me. Have you eaten snails? Nope. I probably wouldn't ever eat one snail. My aunt hates onions. No, I don't like onions either, Chad. I don't like onions either. Now once again, I can within reason have them, but I would just rather use onion powder, right, for flavoring purposes. But I don't like onions or tomatoes, Chad. I like to the point of where when I go order food, I'm very, very adamant when I order. I'm like, I'll take a number 2 with cheese, no onions and no tomatoes, right? So it's weird. I know it's weird.
Yeah.
Onions on burgers, but love onion rings. Onion rings aren't too terrible. That's something I would probably be able to do more than having like the individual like onion on a burger or something. Are you gonna play Hunter Call the Wild? No, we're doing our mental health stream. This is our weekly mental health stream, right? Our weekly mental health stream.
We talk about food.
Yeah, apparently we're talking about increasing the quality of life with food. And then we'll be moving on to commitment, right?
And onion rings. Have you got a commitment to onion rings? Come
here. Why not? Right? Why not? Chat, tonight's topic, right, is commitment, right? We're going to be discussing commitment. Eating is a commitment. Yes, it is to stay alive, right? I mean, food is great for comfort. See, I mean, we're all on board with this. You know what I'm saying? Good thing we're not like animals, like deer and stuff, where you have to eat to stay warm. You know what I'm saying? Right? Tonight's topic is commitment, though. You know, does anybody got any anything that they want to discuss prior to that? Anybody had any ordeals, any positive things that happened to them over the last week or the last 2 weeks, or any negative things that y'all want to discuss? I'm kind of weird, but have you ever thought about? I'm kind of weird, but have you ever thought about who decided to eat some of the foods first? Like much? Yeah, I agree, bro.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm like, what? Like who? Especially what's that root that everybody eats that's real expensive? Don't know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of it. Save my life. Who like?
Not like truffles.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like who just digs stuff out of the ground and is like, well, let's just try this, you know, like this.
And you have to be really careful what you dig out of the ground as well, don't you? It could be like an old Roman, or you know, could be anything from like it's. I don't know, but there's some things, isn't there, that you see, and you like. I'd imagine that they see something and think, oh, that looks tasty, like an apple hanging from a tree, something like that. But then you know, some of the other stuff, like snails. Who on earth thought, well, you know, it's really easy to catch, you know, but why would you eat it? I don't get that one, really.
I mean, look, I understand doing things for survival, right? Like if you're in a situation where you ain't got access to no food, you do what you got to do to survive. But like, I'm not going to go to a restaurant and caviar. Like who decided to eat eggs like that? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what caviar is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Fish eggs.
Just gross, you know?
Yeah.
Or eating worms. Ugh.
Yep. And then there's that fish, isn't there? Is it Japan that has got that poisonous kind of sac in it, isn't it? So if you prepare it wrong, then that kills you.
Don't eat sacs.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch what I say on it tonight, I think. I try to.
To eat from the ground is a real commitment. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. So Matt, you got any kind of intro that you want to go into on this commitment stuff?
Really, yeah. The first thing obviously kind of comes to mind around commitment is most people will talk about relationships and things like that. But really what I was looking at is I think the article that we're looking at as well, that kind of concentrates on relationships because that's normally where people sort of go to and what people think about. But obviously it can be commitment to anything, whether it's you know, like some sort of purchase that we're worried about, changes in our life or lifestyle, whether it be a job, whether it kind of be giving up one job to kind of go and work somewhere else. You know, anything to do with family, friends, you know, kind of people, offers, when people sort of make your offers and you sort of, you know, perhaps it sounds like a good positive offer, but you still struggle, you know, to kind of commit to it because of other reasons that might pop up, which can be about, you know, sort of self-doubt or general doubt, what kind of risks that we believe that there might be around it as well. So, although we normally think a lot about commitment within relationships, it can be obviously to do with anything really. So if anyone in chat has kind of got any kind of thoughts or stories or kind of opinions around that. It'd be good to kind of talk those over. I know the article kind of concentrates on relationships, but while we're reading through that, it's, we can kind of put anything that mentions towards any other subject, really.
I mean, you actually strike up a conversation, especially with commitment and relationships and whatnot. Chat. What do you guys think, man, about these days that we live in as far as commitments go? Do you guys think it's more socially acceptable to not be dedicated to your obligations to relationships that you enter? Do you guys feel that way? I feel like it's more socially acceptable, right, to not do that. You know what I'm saying?
Seems, especially I think times have changed, haven't they, a lot over the years. I think it's easier for people to kind of move on as well, and sort of either take up other options or, from years ago, it used to be that you was married, didn't it? And that was it really. And people would stay kind of in relationships, whether they were good, bad or whatever. And there was an awful lot of people that probably stayed in situations as well, that, perhaps they shouldn't have been because they were very unhealthy ones. But, times have changed that way. So there is some kind of good sides to it as well, is that, people have more freedom, I think, these days, and, there's more options for people.
I agree. Miss Robin said, still going strong in your commitment to the gym. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff,
right? That definitely increases the quality of life too. You know what I'm saying? Especially on your health. You know what I mean? Patrick said yes. Dennis said, I am in that commitment area of trying to decide to stay where I'm at teaching or go to see if the grass is greener on the other side and move closer to family. However, at the same time, I will take a pay cut also.
Yeah,
I guess, and that's kind of the tough part, especially when it comes to making these decisions. You know what I mean? Like what is best? Because at the end of the day, like, you have to put food on your table. You know what I'm saying? Right. But then what are you willing to sacrifice in between? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've been in that situation a few times as well, and personally, it's something that I've never been kind of scared or worried to kind of do. Although I've known kind of the risks about it, but I've always kind of felt that the reward or the possible reward sort of is there, whether it's just kind of gaining experience or meeting new people or learning something sort of new. I've always been quite good at sort of kind of making those decisions, I feel, and have always ended up okay as well. We still survive at the end of them as well, but they can be quite tricky at the time, especially when money's involved.
Right. Patrick said, I don't think people care if they stay committed or not anymore. And then Chris kind of followed up with that, says society made it more easier for people to walk away from their commitments. Do you think it's society, or do you think so what all do you believe when you say that sentence, right? I think that social media probably comes into a large play of the reason why it feels like commitments are less. I don't think that I think that overall people do care. I think there are people out there who stay committed. There are people that make that shit work. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, I guess, especially on the relationship side, I don't really think, I think we as people are not like naturally monogamous. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to relationships. And that's why I think relationships take work and effort and dedication. You know what I'm saying? But I do agree, right? I do agree that in my opinion, I think there's a lot of things in society now that make it that much easier to not stay committed, you know?
I think the big, for me, and I always used to sort of think that there was big differences between like America and the UK and things like that. But certainly through speaking to yourself, Chris, and doing these once a week, I've realized that there's a lot of similarities actually. And I know over here, I think, we've all been encouraged to kind of, everyone is encouraged to work and be at work for as long as you kind of can be and things like that at the moment, especially with the way things are going with, cost of living and increases in prices of things and stuff like that. And that makes it very hard to kind of find that quality time to spend with a partner or family and that sort of thing. So even that on its own, is a big factor, I feel, is that, years ago, you perhaps had a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday sort of job. You had weekends with your family and with your partner, and, your evenings as well. Whereas these days it seems to be that, you know, kind of that time, quality time with family can be very hard to kind of find because we're all busy sort of trying to earn and make money instead. Which then, if you're spending a lot of time elsewhere and you're still under pressure and strain, you know, it can kind of make it easier to kind of drift apart. You know, you get tempted by other options, and, you know, kind of, even if it's whether sharing kind of thoughts, feelings and worries with somebody else rather than kind of your partner or your family at home. So, you know, even on that side of things, that's made it even harder, which then impacts on children and raising children as well, because a lot of children are spending a lot more time in care now and being cared by either older relatives or by other carers. So, you know, I think that's been a big impact, as well as social media and some other problems and issues as well. I think that society has changed towards.
I agree. Miss Chelsea, what's up? How are you?
Hey, Chelsea.
Patrick said, hell yeah, social media killed morals and values. And I do agree that it enabled for that ball to be in motion. You know what I'm saying? I also think that it also increased like the reach of painting an image of how we're supposed to be a society, right? And I don't necessarily play by the rules like that, you know what I'm saying? But I do agree that had a huge factor. Grim said, same. I feel like I have to live at work to be able to stay afloat, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a tough spot to be in, man. It really is, because you need to find some kind of balance. You know what I'm saying? You have to, you know what I mean? But I think one of my downfalls, especially with work, is that I work too much, right? Like, I was using it as a way to not have to deal with certain things that I didn't want to deal with. You know what I mean? But it's just no fun when it's the same thing over and over again. And if you're not, we kind of talked about this the other day. I don't remember what stream it was on, but we live in a busy world, in a busy society where everything's going 900 miles an hour and people aren't focused on one thing. Everything's like, it comes in waves, right? Okay, this is immediate gratification. Now I'm done with it. Now on to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
So you really have to discipline yourself, I think, to stop, slow down, and whether it's just being outside and looking up at the sky and seeing something pretty like the clouds or the sun behind the clouds or something, like, make sure that you're teaching yourself the discipline to stop and pay attention to those little moments in life. Because what they do for me is they provide me with a little slowdown. And you guys know I'm already too energetic as it is, right? But that nice little slowdown really, really helps and makes me appreciate little finer things in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've been posting some brilliant pictures recently on Facebook and stuff.
And that's amazing. What that's been for me. That's what that's been for me. That's me trying to encourage myself to slow down and remember that there is a life to live and not get wrapped up in everything going at 900 miles an hour. And hopefully sharing it with you guys, you know, and being able to see some of those beautiful views and whatnot, you know.
It's good because it slows down life in general in other ways, doesn't it? Where, you know, you kind of can figure out what's important to you during that time, what makes you happy, what helps make you content, rather than kind of just running at 100 miles an hour, really, and life kind of vanishing and disappearing pretty quickly. Because, you know, we are here for a short time, and you know, if you're busy working and things, you know, you look back and you think, where on earth has that time gone over the last year, 2 years and things? I can't believe, you know, we must be on our 2 years at the moment of kind of doing this, and that's just flown. You know, so it's good to kind of take that bit of a step back and a deep breath, really, and appreciate the other things that are around you.
Yo, Sneaky Turtle, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, man. How's everything going?
Some of these names are brilliant.
Right. I agree 100%. And it's just hard. It really is. Who would have ever thought that we would be at a point in life where it's hard to remind ourselves to take 30 seconds to just stop and look at something pretty? You know what I'm saying? But it's the ways of the world, man. We're just, like I said, we're structured now around like what's in, what's hot, instant gratification, and moving on, you know?
Yeah. I think that's where I kind of agree with that earlier comment, really. You know, I do think governments have kind of molded us kind of this way because it fits and it suits. And, you know, over here, they used to talk about family values a lot. You know, there was always we need to make sure that family values are protected. We need to make sure family values are in place. We need to make sure that parents are able to concentrate on the home and running the home and looking after children. We never hear about family values over here at all anymore. Spoken in politics, it's just not mentioned at all, whereas it used to be all the time. And it's now about how hard can you work? How many hours can you do? It's not about just having one job; it's about having like 2 or 3. So
Right.
it really has changed. And I get a little. I can kind of go into my personal opinions really, but basically, I sort of feel if you move away from the basics, then things start going wrong. And when you've got children growing up being looked after by kind of other peers or coming home, to empty houses and things like that without the parents there and having to fend for themselves a little bit more and waiting for mum and dad to come in just before bedtime hopefully, and those sort of things, there's a lot lost in that. And especially during those important years where we're developing and learning, and you need responsible peers around you to kind of show you the way really. It's an important time, and at the moment too many people I feel are sort of missing out on what we used to have when we was younger, I think.
I agree. Yo, South, what you up to, man? You still here? Let's see. Just remember, if you were to pass away, your employer will have your job posted within a week, but your family will miss you forever. And that's true, man. It really is.
Probably in a couple of days, I think most places would have you.
Right.
And it's, yeah.
Sneaky, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you asking. It's good to see you here, bro. Hunter with those Texas flags. I love them, bro. Sometimes life will make you slow down and cherish life. I definitely had a wake-up call this week. And it is those moments, man, those reminders, especially when you have those near-death experiences, you're like, oh, yikes. Maybe I better start appreciating things while I can, Yo, Dallas, what's up, man?
I kind of alluded to it a little bit before we come on here to Chris, is that I had a bit of a weekend last weekend where there was a few reminders really about kind of what was important to me. And one of those was that I had a surprise visit from a family who kind of all travelled up sort of together. So my mum never travels anywhere, so it was a big thing for her really to kind of travel that distance and come up. And I was sat. My partner arranged it all. She kind of played a little bit of a trick on me. Really, we went out and was sat in having a coffee, sort of in a cafe, and next minute, sort of my family all walked around the corner. So it kind of, the onions in the sandwich kind of got to me a little bit at that moment. But it was a great reminder of what really is important, and kind of put things back in perspective and in place really, where I sorted out a few of my own priorities last weekend of sort of thinking, well, no, my reaction kind of proved to me was a bit unexpected, but it kind of proved to me what made me happy, what makes me happy, what I need kind of around me and in my life really to kind of be a better version of myself, I suppose, really.
Right.
Yeah, it certainly put things in perspective, and sometimes we kind of need those moments where life does kind of naturally slow us down sometimes as well and make us think. Usually that's around like a kind of a health issue or a little bit of a health warning, something like that. But important moments that we shouldn't just ignore and take for granted.
I agree. Grim says, yeah, but in EMS, they couldn't fill it. Well, I mean, at some point they would, you know what I mean? Like there's always people out there to take that spot. But I think more of what it was referring to is like, make sure that you're valuing that special time that you have with your family, your friends, and outside of work. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you are replaceable. We're all replaceable at jobs, right? Like we just are. Like people get hired and fired daily. You know what I'm saying? So we're all replaceable, but we're not replaceable to our family and our friends. You know what I mean? I think that's where he's going with that,
Yeah.
Yo, Debo, what's up, dude? What's up, man? Good to see you. Hunter says, I still remember my old cat that died 8 years ago. Yo, Grim, I'm tracking, bro. Oh yeah. But I will say this, I think that EMS and police would be a lot easier to fill spots if they just increase the pay. I say, you know what I think? I got an opinion on this matter, right, Grim? And maybe you might just slightly agree with me here, right? I say that we cut like a slight amount of money from like football players, baseball players, MLB, NFL, right? And then allocate that over to like public service workers. I mean, what do you guys think? You guys, I think that would actually be, I think that would be kind of cool,
You
right?
can't do that. That's common sense.
Like
You
military and
can't.
public service, yeah.
Yeah, you can't use common sense. But this is what I mean. Really, you're having exactly the same conversations as what we're having over here, which is wherever did it get to the point of where we're kind of paying, footballers and things the amount of money that they're getting, and we're not looking after the people that look after us. That just,
I mean, it makes
never
no
makes
sense.
to
No,
me.
no, none.
No. If it comes to it, I'd rather they put hospitals and doctors on the TV, sponsor them, and get the, Pepsi or Coca-Cola or whatever to sponsor the hospitals and put that on telly and stuff. It's doesn't make sense. But yeah, it's amazing how we're having exactly the same conversations over here, and we're struggling to get those positions filled over here as well. And it's a real struggle at the minute,
especially here with police. You know what I'm saying? Because virtually any kind of like discretion or anything like that has been taken away, like, and then on top of that, the pay has gotten a lot better over the years. I will say that, from when I first started policing, I have noticed that quite a few places have made a significant pay jump, but it's still, I don't think it's comparable to people that, like playing football. I mean, I don't want to discredit people that are out there doing the entertainment business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have what they have. What I'm saying is that maybe we should allocate it a little, or maybe just allocate a small part of proceeds from what they do towards helping with first responders and military. You know what I mean?
Well, perhaps from some of those
And
big companies, isn't
right?
it? It's perhaps from the big companies of where if they're paying so much to sponsor events, or it's just me thinking out the box really. But if they're paying that much to sponsor kind of certain events, a share of that, or they should pay a certain percentage to those other services as well, perhaps. But is your would you say that your police services are kind of being attacked over the years, Chris, and how they work? And is it a job that you can kind of go easily into and you're still looked up to in how it used to be, or have they kind of been attacked a little bit, if you kind of understand?
I think it all depends on where you are and what environment you're in and stuff like that. Obviously, like a 15-second clip out of a 5-minute ordeal, not taking the totality of circumstances into what they're showing, the media and whatnot, right? Obviously that does not help by any means. You know what I'm saying? It twists the perception and makes people believe, and not presenting all the facts when they run clips. Now, once again, don't get me wrong, right? Like, there are bad apples in every group, every industry, everything. There's always bad apples. You know what I'm saying? And do I think we, like, modern day policing should definitely be migrating towards and doing the right thing and being above all the dumb stuff? Yes, I do. But I'll say this: I grew up around police officers. I was the police for 4 years, right? I have not met one cop who's doing something shady. Now, the reason why that could be is because I didn't stand for it and I gave off that vibe. I don't know. But me personally, I've not encountered one, for me, one who's done like shady stuff or done things they weren't supposed to do. I personally have not encountered one. Do they exist? Absolutely, they do. Right? Do people need to be punished whenever they are? Absolutely, 100%. But I think that this kind of ties into our commitment to ourselves, right? Like, we should always be struggling to find the truth in things. We should not take things at face value. Like, if I see something in the news chat, I don't say, oh, it has to. I saw it on Facebook, it has to be true, right? Like, I think that we are obligated to ourselves to investigate things, to see things out, and then take a stance in an educated way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, Josh Harder, what's up, dude? How you doing, bro? How you doing? Welcome to the Mental Health Stream, bro. So I don't know. Once again, like, I love police and I miss it. Would I go back? Probably not. But I don't think that necessarily everybody deserves to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there are a lot of things nowadays where police officer discretion has been taken away. Let's see here. Let me get caught up. Sadly, the teachers that are ready to leave at the end of this year are not just leaving because of pain, but how toxic the environment and the students have become. I mean, there's a lot of spoiled people out there these days, bro. Like, there just is, man. And y'all's hands are tied so much. There's not that you can't do anything. Like, what are you gonna do? Could you imagine? I remember a day when like principals were allowed to discipline children with parental consent. Could you imagine that being a thing now? Oh my God, people would flip, right? Flip.
Yeah.
I never understood that most cops are only paid $30,000 a year to put your life on the line. And I agree, man. I agree. Right. I agree. I think that I really think that something needs to be done with that. But what is the solution? You know, is it really, it'll never happen the way that we're talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just venting a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think the difference with those roles as well, wasn't it? When we're talking about commitment, you know, like joining any service, you know, you kind of wanted to have a commitment to really kind of help people, make a difference. You know, they're all the kind of normal things people say, isn't it, when they're asked, you know, why did you join or why did you want to take on this role? And it never used to be sort of about money, really. You know, that was a kind of a secondary thing. It was for myself as well, because the roles that I've done in the past, it was that I wanted to make a difference, wanted to help people. The money was kind of a bonus on top of that, really. It wasn't really kind of a priority to me. But nowadays, you know, kind of the wages of those services has kind of fallen behind, you know, a fair bit in cost of living and things like that. While everyone else's has kind of been going up in private sectors and stuff, you know, to a point of where it's just become, you know, pretty unfair, really, where people, you know, that are in a job that work for like hospitals are having to use food banks over here and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, it's, you know, kind of awful over here when you think about nurses having to go to food banks to try and, you know, pick up food for themselves and their family to eat and stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing, really, as well, because, you know, kind of if you look at the country that we kind of are, we're supposed to be, you know, a wealthy country and a healthy country. I know we've had our hard times, but we wouldn't expect your emergency workers to be going off and having to do that. So they've still got plenty of commitment because they still want to do that job and they still want to do that role because they do want to help people make a difference, and that's what they're trained for. But unfortunately, it's just the gaps become too big where their commitment's being questioned and tested, and a lot of them over here are leaving, unfortunately, and that includes teachers and things like that as well.
Yo, Mud Shovel's in the chat.
Hey.
My name is Chris and I make my bed. Yo, Mike, what's up, buddy? What's up, Mike? Hey, man, congrats on the way your streams have been going, bro. That's good shit, man. Good shit. For those of y'all that don't know who OG Mike Hawk is, he's the one that owns Infamous Roleplay. He's one of the owners. So if you guys ever want to catch some good ownership side of things, you know, and get that perspective, if you click on his name over there, right, and he goes live on Twitch, right? He goes live on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Mud, what's up, dude? What's up, bro? I miss you, buddy. How's everything going, bro? How's everything going?
Good to see you.
Yeah. Jason said, hey, Chris and Matt, what's up, Jason? How are you, man? What a November for us. I know, man. I know. One of them months, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? We're already over halfway through with it. Can you guys believe that it's already almost Thanksgiving? What happened to this year? Yo, G-Boss, what's up, dude? I appreciate them kind of words, man. I appreciate you being here, showing love. So can you guys believe that it's already Thanksgiving almost? Oh my God, man. What the hell happened this year? We're talking about commitment, Mud. We're talking about commitment.
We've spoken about everything though, Chris, haven't we? We
talked about how disgusting tomatoes tomatoes are. Right? How
pineapple on pizza.
Tomatoes. Pineapple on pizza is a no-go. We all agreed on that.
I do think pineapple on pizza, I think that actually makes every stream going, I think. I always see it mentioned somewhere along the line. So it will definitely be mentioned on Mike's ones, for sure.
So Grim said, value yourself and your knowledge. And I do agree, man. And I really think, bro, I think that's one thing that I really, with raising Casey, one thing that I was really adamant about is making sure that she conducts herself in that manner. Right. So like there's things that she would randomly tell me. Like one day she's like, Dad, maybe I should become a vegan because of the way they treat animals. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, look at this video. And we had this really healthy conversation, and I showed her that you can investigate all sorts of the other manners, you know what I'm saying, and like the importance of having protein or whatever it may be, you know. And then I naturally let her make her own decision because she can be whatever she wants, you know, as long as she's being productive to society, right? That's kind of my standard, you know what I mean? But I will say, right, like I use those examples to teach her to just not see one video and then be like, oh yeah, this is the way that it goes, because that's you gotta have more of a commitment to yourself, I think, in order to see past that stuff. Commitment in relationship. Well, we haven't talked just on that, but we all know where I stand on that too. I ain't too good at it none either, right? Yo, Gunner with that happy early birthday, and Jason. Yo, Jason, happy early birthday, bro. Happy early birthday. But Grim, I agree with you, bro. And Chris Armstrong, it's definitely a call in 100%, because it's never been about the money, bro. I know when I got paid as police, and it wasn't nothing, you know what I'm saying? But it was about doing my part, man, and trying to help out, the best of my. But now it was fun. So policing is 90% paperwork, 10% fun, but that 10% fun is really freaking fun, right? Really, really freaking fun. So, but unfortunately, you spend 90% of the rest of your time doing paperwork. But it is what it is, man. Those little encounters with people, and that it's like an automatic opening door to just have a chat with people, to just talk to people, to be friendly to people, to help people. Like it's so easy, and that's what I really respected about policing, is that opportunity that by just simply wearing a uniform enabled me to have such healthy and good conversations with people and meet new people, let's see. Wes, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Our state is like 90% volunteer for fire departments. We are really shorthanded for volunteers. It takes huge commitment to risk your life to help others, and more and more people struggle with doing that. I agree, man. I agree. Right.
There's a lot to be learnt, though, isn't there? It's that's the thing, because a lot of people obviously think about, because we've got all bills to pay and things like that. So a lot of people obviously think about the money, because that has to be, some sort of priority. But there's an awful lot to learn from those roles, which for me was priceless, because it then led on to me, kind of doing what I do in other areas, and it's an experience that I really do pull on a lot. So it's it's we kind of need that money, but there's a lot of else you can kind of be gained, and a lot of other value from those services and from that experience.
I do agree. Mike said it definitely wasn't worth the money, and it wasn't, right. It wasn't at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell you, like, we do commonly talk about, like tonight, especially, about how society is going and how things are going. But you got to keep in mind too that, to a certain extent, that's just what we see online, right? Sometimes the negative stuff is spotlighted for whatever reason, and the positive is not. I will say, at the end of the day, I wholeheartedly and believe from experience and encountering so many people throughout my careers, right, that the good is still winning over the bad 100%, without a doubt, in my question, but I do think that discussing things about social media is also a good way to kind of like try and change the spotlight to the positive stuff. You know what I mean? By acknowledging that the negative is there, right? And then be like, you guys can drop the negative, and then we can just go back to kind of being real about like what's winning the battle, because I do think that good will always win, without a doubt, right? Or they blame you, the teacher, for their kids' grades. It's tough, right? It's tough. It really is, man. Especially on the teacher side. I feel you, bro. So when I police, like, listen, I always practice that professional courtesy with teachers. You know what I mean? Because y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all get shit on. You know what I'm saying, bro? And y'all got to put up with a lot more than I don't know if I'd be capable of putting up with your hands being as bound as much as they are. But you got a lot of respect for me, bro, for doing it, man. That's 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I myself.
Where I'm at, it would be more than that. I'm sure it probably would, right? Let's see. Did we miss anything? We good? We all caught up? Hey, Mud, how have you been, bro? How's them youngins? All good? Yo, Mike, with that knocking, I don't know if it's gonna work, right? I don't know if it's gonna work, because I'm not using OBS. I'm using Melon, right? So I don't know if that'll work. If you don't hear it, that's the reason why. Normally you would. And from the FBI. Oh yeah. Let's see here. But it works when it's on OBS, right? It works when it's on OBS, but when we do these, I do it on Melon app, because it's just more convenient, instead of having to go to Discord, then try and share a camera in Discord and with OBS. It's just Matt used to talk to like an empty screen for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You remember those days, Matt, when we were doing Discord?
I used to go fuzzy a lot on there as well, didn't I? And like get stuck and things like that.
This has been pretty efficient.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have any problems 100%. On here. So no, it seems good.
Right.
I used to freeze for a long time.
Chat, we do have a little bit of an article here. I think we're gonna kind of like skim over this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, and I'm gonna paste this up in the mental health Friday material, so you guys can have it if you ever want to refer back to it. But it's an article about what we're talking about tonight, which is commitment. So we'll start off by just kind of reading this, going through it. If you guys have anything to chime in, feel free to. All right. Making a commitment. The 3 areas of commitment: who we are with, what we do, and where we do it. Studies in humans have made clear that people with stronger social networks have greater longevity. In order to build a strong social network, you need to be capable of making commitments. You can look at how you commit by examining 3 main areas of your life: relationships, which is who you spend time with; place, where you spend your time; activity, what you do with your time. We all know that some people find it easier to commit than others, drifting without much awareness into a committed, full, and happy life, while others find commitment to anyone or anything a struggle. Most of us manage one of 2 areas of commitment well, and some people have a problem with all 3. People commit in different ways too, and I wouldn't go as far to say that there's a right or wrong way to entrust our relationships to others, the way we spend our time, nor the place we choose to spend it. But what is it that makes it easier for some and harder for others? And if you're having problems committing in one or all of these areas, how can you make changes in your approach to commitment and find a new way to move forward? The usual explanation of the uncommitted is that something better might be just around the corner, or that no clear winner presents it amongst the choices available to you. This can only ever be part of the equation, because it is not only what you commit to, it's how you commit to that decision, and that will make your choices successful or otherwise. Only the smallest part of committing is a passive process that either works or does not work, depending upon the thing or person you have committed to. The main factor that will make the choice successful or not is what work you're willing to put into it. So, Matt, you want to kind of break that down and explain how you perceive what was just being said in that?
Yeah, the big thing that sticks out for myself really is that kind of if you well, I know here it talks about kind of a lot to do with relationships really. So if I use that as an example of where we can kind of meet someone that we really like, and we can kind of feel that we would like some sort of relationship with them, but then not fully commit because we kind of know that, or we're aware that the world's a big place and things, and it's like if I'm kind of with this person, am I then going to not meet a better person, or if I kind of commit to this person, am I going to kind of miss out on other opportunities or other people, other places to visit or whatever it is really. So that really stands out for myself, because I've perhaps done that in the past a long time ago with kind of opportunities to sort of do with work. So I've kind of turned down really good opportunities in the past because I've got a feeling that something better might just be around the corner, or I might have kind of an inclination that I'm going to be offered sort of another role. And then you end up, it's a bit like that story about the dog and the 2 bones that drops his bone in the water and sees like a reflection. So where he kind of grabs the reflection and ends up with nothing. So it's a bit like that situation really, of where, because you're not kind of willing or you're reluctant to commit to sort of one thing, you end up kind of missing out on everything really, the either the option that you've got or the other kind of thing that's been offered to you. So so that really kind of sticks out for myself, because I know I've done that myself years ago as well, and probably more than once as well in different times. Is there anything else that sticks out for you really, Chris, on there? Or
I mean, I agree with what you said, but I also want to ask chat what you guys think about y'all's predicaments, man. Do you guys find yourself having trouble to commit? And if so, what aspect of your life would you consider that commitment to be a struggle out of those 3 things, right? Go ahead.
So, and I was just going to say, really, I think someone's mentioned there about the grass being greener on the other side,
right.
And I think that's that's normally the kind of thing that pops into our head of what's better just around the corner, and not really kind of taking time to appreciate what's in front of us, and what we've already got, or or what we're being offered at the time. And I know, again, I keep saying that it kind of focuses easily on relationships, but it mentions there about times, places, and things like that. So It kind of be around any subject really, but it's kind of having that balance, because I think we probably will talk about that either next week or another time as well, is about overcommitting and committing to sort of bad situations and remaining in negative kind of situations, and because we are committed. And we talking about services sort of just a moment ago as well, and jobs, you can kind of carry on doing kind of a job because you feel that in the background it's the right thing for you to do, but it's a very unhealthy situation for perhaps you and your family and things like that. So perhaps we can talk about that on a bit of a part 2 of this subject as well. So it's again really, I'm kind of a person around balance, and I think it is kind of trying to find that healthy balance between the two really, where you're making the kind of decisions that you want to, rather than kind of bypassing options or turning down options because of a fear of something, and kind of accepting anything that's in front of you and being committed to anything that's in front of you that's unhealthy too. So for me, it is about trying to find that healthy balance for you and making sure that the decisions you make around that are kind of made on logic really, and good reason.
Sometimes people say it's because it's comfortable, and that's true,
Yeah,
right?
very
That
much
is
so.
true. Right.
Yeah, no, very true. Yeah, even if something's very negative for us, so there's a lot of people in relationships that are very negative and abusive and things like that, but because they're worried about what the change is, although they might sort of know that it's a positive change to kind of move away from a relationship, it's that fear of change, even though it's a positive one, that will kind of keep them in a situation that's unhealthy, but has become kind of comfortable because their tolerance levels have risen so much really, and they kind of tolerate behavior that really perhaps they shouldn't or they wouldn't have done some time ago.
Right. I agree. So it says the key determiner of how you do or do not commit is a script that dictates how you live your life. This is founded in your early relationships with primary caregivers, the environment you grew up in, and the experiences you had. From these factors, you will have formed your personal belief system, your internal script, and it is from that system you will be operating from today. Acting out life on the basis of the script is mostly an automatic way of being rather than something you constantly think about or are consciously aware of. So if you do seem stuck and cannot move forward in one of the 3 main commitment areas, then it can be worthwhile having a closer look at your belief system. And I firmly believe, like, this is one thing that I stand for very heavily is like self-evaluation and pushing yourself to step outside of what your norm is, because I do think we default in a lot of situations back to things like what they're talking about here. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, very much so. And there's kind of 2 options really from when we learn from peers. It's either well, to be honest, there's kind of a 3, I suppose. There's an extreme of where you'll try to be completely the opposite of kind of how your peers kind of led their lives and how they kind of encourage you to believe, or you can kind of act very similarly and follow the same pattern. Both of those are kind of extreme. So you either, there's a good chance that if you follow your peers and their behavior has been quite negative and seen as bad behavior, really, you're going to perhaps follow that trait and match that behavior, if not kind of, sort of even exaggerate it even more. The other extreme is that you try too hard to kind of be completely different, which can cause its own problems as well, because perhaps you'll be kind of too over the top, sort of caring for your children and things like that, whereas which can be unhealthy. So again, really saying I'm kind of about balance. It is trying to find that sort of balanced ground of where you're not kind of going to extremes. You're kind of somewhere in the middle, sort of there. But our peers and the way that we're kind of brought up, whoever that is around us, and those influence are a major factor really on how we kind of commit, and our beliefs are sort of around commitment and relationships, and kind of how much we give of ourselves to other people and to kind of sort of options that are in front of us again.
All right. There's a difference between what you think you believe and what you do believe. And this can be most prevalent in the area that gets the most attention regarding commitment relationships. You might think one day my prince will come, but you might believe all men are not to be trusted. And if you do hold such a belief, it could prevent you from recognizing the prince even when he is begging for your number. Or is your weakest commitment area one of place? Can you put down roots and build relationships with people and places to form a supportive community? We all probably know someone, is it you, who is always moving house, towns, or even countries. The ideal situation is always the next one, and then there is something wrong with it, and off you go again. This is called doing a geographical. It is easier if you feel dissatisfied or stuck in some way to blame things outside of yourself, and geographical location often comes in for a lot of blame. The trouble is when you move, you bring your problems with you, and that is because they were internal rather than external problems. And that, no matter where you go, there you are, chat. No matter where you go, there you are, 100%, right?
Definitely.
My particular area of stuckness was inactivity. I can never commit to a job. It was unusual for me to stick at something longer than a year. I told myself that I had not found my vocation and kept starting at the bottom in a new line of work. So working with my therapist, I discovered that my buried belief was that I believed I was stupid. We discovered that my being dyslexic, and this is not being picked up on as a child, meant I had not had any of the help, support, or understanding that might go with a dyslexia diagnosis. I had to try so much harder than my peers. I formed the belief that undermined my life script that work was not for me. Even if I was doing well in a job, I could not believe that I was, and I felt increasingly awkward and left. Psychotherapy has given me many things besides discovering this belief and how it affected me, but this discovery is one of the most significant. I realized I could not build a career and underwent a training in psychotherapy. Now I've been working in the world of mental health for more than 15 years. For someone who could not commit to a career, this is something of a record for me. I've come late to the joys of laying down a foundation for learning and overlaying it with layers of experience, practice, and deepening skills. But I also believe it is not necessarily the profession you choose. It is level of commitment and investment you choose to invest that makes satisfyingly worthwhile. Therapy gave the confidence to make a commitment. So if you think about the three main areas of commitment: relationships, place, activity, how well do you think your life script is working for you? Does your best friend agree with your conclusions? So I do, Matt, I think that it is very, very important to make sure and spend the time and invest in those things in us, because, a lot of times growing up, we didn't, this was not a thing, right? Dyslexia, like those were not things that were very topic. And it's crazy just how at a younger age, how much that still affects us to this day. So it's important, I think, to recognize that we have some things that are holding us back, and address them and try and repair them to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, definitely. I was listening to a radio show over here actually today, and there was a 72-year-old woman who, by her description, she'd had a very hard, difficult life, wasn't kind of understood by a lot of people. She had very few friends and things like that. And at the age of 67, I think it was, she was diagnosed with autism, like a mild version of autism, which, kind of was like a lightning bolt for her as she kind of explained it. She just realized really that, that's why she had kind of different opinions to other people, why her thoughts were different. So those diagnoses, are really important. That's something that's, kind of today in the modern sort of world, we're much more aware of those, kind of conditions, and they get picked up on a lot more quickly. But unfortunately for her, she being the age that she was, they were kind of missed. And I think that's where therapy is kind of mentioned in the end of that kind of article there, really, where that can really help as well, because she was saying how, she was struggling, and she'd gone to kind of see kind of a counselor for the very first time. And that's when they kind of picked up on kind of the points that there might be something else kind of going on sort of there, and referred her back to a GP and stuff. So that's again where therapy and talking to other people can kind of really help out on those. And I think if people have or feel that they've got some sort of problem around commitment, and especially around relationships. That's where therapy and counseling can really help and really make a difference for there. Even if it's just to kind of take that bit of a step back and a bit of a breather to kind of look at the situation and talk that through with someone else. And I think that's why at the end of that kind of article as well, she sort of, the person who wrote it sort of mentions, talk it over with your friend and have a discussion with your friend about it, because rather than holding all that in yourself, if you start talking to a friend about commitment or any other sort of feelings, it's, problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. But yeah, I think I know myself especially with jobs, I've kind of overcommitted in the past, where I'm a very loyal person. If I'm working with someone, I've chosen to work for them. I've gone for the interview, I've filled out the forms and everything else and stuff. And then when someone's kind of said, yes, we'd like to take you on, I was always very quick to kind of hand my whole self over to someone, thinking, well, I want to give them my all. And I don't think necessarily that's a bad kind of mindset to start a new job or a new kind of career with. But it does mean that there was times where, I probably wasn't treated the best, or they kind of assumed that, oh, Matt's going to be around forever because he's kind of loyal and he's, so we can kind of give other people positions and promotions because Matt's not going to leave us because he's loyal, because he hasn't got that promotion. So I used to miss out on a few things. And then when I started asking questions sort of years ago, people like managers would say, well, we know that you're going to stay with us anyway. So whereas the other person, if we didn't promote them, they would have left, but we knew that you would have stayed and we don't want to lose you as a worker. But, we know that the other person would have gone. So there's times where I kind of feel that my commitment has been too much, really, and I've overcommitted, which is another kind of side to this. So again, it is about kind of, taking that step back, looking at ourselves in our own situation, being honest with ourselves, and trying to find that healthier balance, really.
Oh, absolutely. Dennis said, my wife has dyslexia, so the bottom part of that article hits home.
Yeah.
That's how she feels, even with being diagnosed young, that she constantly is not doing the right job. And it's because it's so much more of a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that much more challenging. I mean, I do know other people too that have dyslexia, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so hard for them. You know what I mean? And I really, really sympathize with that, because that's beyond their control. There's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not their fault at all. You know what I mean? And especially when they're still, the crazy thing is like they've had to work so much harder that it makes them more of a stronger and dedicated person, I think, than than the average person per se, that didn't have to work as hard to get to where they're at. You know what I'm saying? But it makes them feel worse. You know what I mean? When in all actuality, like if you kind of step back and look at it, like I would have more respect. You know what I'm saying? For having to work that much extra hard, or that much more to accomplish the same thing, right? As what a average person would, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So in all reality, it's kind of beautiful to see somebody like have to put forth that much effort and still be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think as well, isn't it? It's I can understand it because of expense and stuff like that, but we've always catered a lot for the majority of people, and not for the minorities, and everything's tailored really for how the majority of people seem to kind of work or how they learn and things like that. And I know some amazing people with dyslexia that have got, because of their condition, they've got some amazing skills and amazing talents in kind of remembering information and numbers, great at maths and all sorts of things. And the same is for people with autism as well. There's some people out there with some amazing skills that kind of don't get used or tapped into, because everything really is kind of programmed or kind of structured to kind of help the majority of people. And thankfully things have got better over the years, but there's still a lot more that can be kind of done. And I really wish that people would be kind of pinpointed a lot earlier, really, sort of, especially in sort of schools and things like that. And then kind of helped or kind of guided in a different way to what everybody else is.
Chris Armstrong said, I'm dyslexic and ADD, and it was a struggle, but I learned techniques that helped me through life. And that's really the only thing you can do, man. And that's what I'm saying. But that is a lot of extra work than what somebody without those has to go through, you know. So that's why I talk about how much respect I have for it, because look, you're successful, you're above the water, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, and I think that y'all should, like, those of y'all that have those disabilities and stuff should be very should acknowledge the extra work and the effort that you've had to put in and got you to where you're at now, you know, because it's not, I mean, I understand it's a hindrance, but it's also something to be proud of, that you still came out above the water, you know.
I'm sitting here, really, I don't know whether Velocity or Chris Armstrong or you know, anybody else really, especially around dyslexia, if anyone wants to kind of come on and share kind of their experiences and have a chat sort of about, you know, how they've overcome that, the techniques that they've kind of developed and used, you know, it'd be great to have somebody on talking about that. If no one here kind of would like to do that, I'll definitely look into that, because it's something that we haven't really kind of covered is those sort of conditions. So that'd be really good.
Right. Yo, Chris Cross, what's up, buddy? What's up, dude? Well, Matt, I guess kind of in closing here, man, do you have any kind of final thoughts on the topic and whatnot, you know?
Only that I think I've showed amazing commitment this evening, because it's been a bit cold over here, and I'm sat, you can't see it and you won't be able to see it, but there's a log fire that is just in front of me that my partner lit earlier before I come into this room, and I'm absolutely roasting. It's like, my legs
miserable too when you're being hot, isn't it?
I was sitting here thinking, why are my legs so hot? And yeah, I've looked over and there's like a log fire that's it's got coal on it at the moment. So, and it is baking. So yeah, I've shown some commitment for just being here tonight. So
good shit.
I think if someone throws some onions and some tomatoes on me, which was I'll be roasting nicely, I think.
Yeah, Chris. So just that would be cool as hell. If
that'd be great.
100%. Right?
It'd be good to speak to Chris anyway. But yeah, that'd be brilliant subject to speak about as well, because it's something that we haven't covered yet. So.
Well, Matt, once again, dude, I appreciate you being here, and I enjoy the hell out of these weeks, man.
Yeah,
they just put a smile on my face every time, bro. Like, and like I was telling you earlier, you know, there's been a lot more stress than what I've let off on with what we're, you know, with certain sides and aspects of things, and these Fridays, dude, they just put a smile on my face, man, every time. You know what I'm saying? It's like none of that shit matters no more. You know, right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. I really am, and like we, you know, very rarely when we can't make it sort of a weekend and stuff like that. I just really do miss them, and then I'm kind of looking forward to the next one, because I know what it kind of gives me as well. It is brilliant just speak to people in chat and see the conversations going on that side. So, and 2 years, Chris, where's that gone?
Crazy, ain't it? Got like gray hair showing up in my beard here. You see this? Look.
Oh yeah, mine's gray as well somewhere if I can find it. So.
Starting to get old, Matt.
Well, yeah, I was older this week as well, and I'm feeling it now. So
right.
Yeah.
So all right, chat. We also want to thank y'all, man, for being here. It means the absolute world, right? I hope that y'all are still enjoying these, and I hope y'all finding benefits from them and out there trying to change the world. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Yeah, that's cold, Chris. But listen, for those of y'all that are watching this, maybe after we're live on YouTube, if you guys want to comment down below, smash that like button as well. And let us know in the comments, man, if you struggle with a commitment, or if you are completely understandable and very efficient at commitment, like what tools you use in order to stay healthy on the commitment side, or, you know, if you're not on the healthy side, how do you think that you could, you know, make a change to better yourself from that? You know what I mean? Matt, love you, buddy. I appreciate you. Chat, we love you guys. Too. And we will see y'all next Friday, okay?
Yeah. Have a good one. Have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. We'll see you.
Speak to you soon.